They say you broke me. I'm still standing, stronger than your shadow. Gossip says you're unkind. I know the battles fought behind your eyes. They say you're a stranger. I'm learning the language of your silence. Everyone calls you impossible. I believe in the impossible bond we share. They say you're dangerous. I'm drawn to the fire you won't admit. They say you don't love me. I feel your love in every breath you hide. Gossip says you're fake. I know the real you beneath the world's mask. They say you're selfish. I see love wrapped in the armor you wear. Everyone says you're broken. I see a soul repairing with fierce grace. They say you don't care. I feel the love you guard like treasure. They say you're unreachable. I'm reaching anyway, drawn by your mystery. Gossip calls you cruel. I see kindness buried deep beneath the surface. They say you left me. I'm still here, waiting for the truth. Everyone says you're cold. I know the warmth you hide for the right one. They say you don't feel. I feel your pain in the silence you keep. 80. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote and subscribe for more. They say you're a ghost in my life. I feel your presence everywhere I turn. Gossip claims you're heartless. I've felt your love in the quietest moments. They say you're reckless. I see courage in the scars you refuse to hide. Everyone says you're impossible. I see a love too wild to be tamed. They say you don't care. I know the love you bury deep inside. They say you're broken. I see beauty in every cracked piece of your soul. Gossip says you're cold. I feel warmth when you think no one is watching. They say you left me shattered. I'm still piecing together a stronger heart. Everyone calls you a liar. I believe the truths you don't say aloud. They say you're dangerous. I'm drawn to the risk of loving you fully. They say you don't feel. I know your love hides in every glance. Gossip calls you selfish. I see love wrapped in your fierce independence. They say you're cruel. I witness tenderness beneath your guarded exterior. Everyone calls you unreachable. I'm learning to love from a distance. They say you're a stranger. I'm discovering the soul behind the silence. They say you don't deserve love. I believe you are worthy beyond measure. Gossip says you're reckless. I see a heart daring to survive and love. They say you're unforgiving. I see a heart learning to heal through pain. Everyone says you're impossible. I believe in the love only you can give. They say you're lost. I see someone finding their way back to love. They say you're unreachable. I keep reaching, hoping you'll let me in one day. Everyone whispers you're fading. I see a soul quietly reclaiming its light. They say you broke me. I'm healing, stronger from every wound you left behind. Gossip calls you cold. I feel the warmth that only loneliness can hide. They say you don't love. I see love trapped inside, too scared to breathe. Everyone says you vanished. I know you were fighting to save what remained. They say you're unkind. I've felt your kindness in moments no one saw. They claim you're fake. I know the real you hides in every silence. Gossip says you're reckless. I see a soul daring to live despite the pain. They say you don't care. I see love worn like armor, not absence. Everyone says you're lost. I watch you find your way through broken dreams. They say you're selfish. I feel the sacrifices you silently made for love. They say you hurt me. Sometimes love's blade cuts deeper than hate ever could. Gossip calls you heartless. I've seen your love bleed in the dark. They say you left me alone. I'm still here, waiting for your truth. Everyone says you're dangerous. I'm drawn to the fire you try to smother. They say you don't feel. I feel your heart beating beneath layers of pain. They call you broken. I see a mosaic of strength made from every crack. Gossip says you're cold. I know the warmth you save for the few you trust. They say you don't forgive. I see healing waiting beneath your guarded heart. Everyone says you're impossible. I believe in the impossible love we're meant to share. They say you're reckless. I watch you leap, afraid but alive. They say you're a stranger. I'm learning the language of your silence and scars. Gossip says you're unfaithful. I see loyalty hiding behind your guarded eyes. They say you don't care. I feel the love you bury deep in your soul. Everyone says you're broken. I see strength shining through your fractured past. They say you're dangerous. I'm willing to risk everything to love you. They say you don't feel. I hear your pain echo in the quietest moments. Gossip calls you selfish. I know the love you give beneath all your defenses. They say you're cruel. I witness tenderness in the spaces between your words. Everyone says you're unreachable. I keep reaching, hoping you'll let me in. My dear, everyone whispers you're a storm, unpredictable, fierce, but I've seen your quiet strength instead. They say you're a shadow that never leaves. I see a light they refuse to understand. Your name carries whispers of betrayal, yet my heart hears only unspoken devotion. The world paints you a liar. I know the truth is buried beneath their fears. They claim you're cold, frozen to love, but I feel the fire you hide in silence. Gossip calls you reckless, but only you know the price of your freedom. They speak of your cruelty. I witness the scars left by those who never cared. The crowd shouts you're lost. I hear the silent path you're bravely forging alone. Accused of being fake, yet you wear your pain more honestly than anyone I know. Everyone says you broke hearts. I know you first had to mend your own shattered pieces. They call you selfish. I've seen the love you give, hidden behind closed doors. Whispered lies wrap around your name, but your soul remains untouched by their poison. They say you're unforgiving. I see someone learning how to survive after endless wounds. The rumors say you ran away. Truth is, you fled before you disappeared completely. People say you're a mystery no one should solve. I want to read every line. Everyone believes you're cruel, but I've touched the tenderness you fear to reveal. They say you play with hearts. I know you're just guarding yours fiercely. They judge your silence, but inside you're screaming truths no one wants to hear. They say your promises never last. I've seen you keep the ones that matter most. They say you're a stranger. I see the familiar soul longing to be understood. Everyone calls you a mistake. I see you as the lesson my heart needed. They say you've changed. I see a survivor becoming someone new, unbreakable. Whispered words say you're dishonest. I hear a soul desperate to be free. They accuse you of betrayal. I feel the loneliness that forced your hand. Everyone warns me of your heart. I'm willing to risk my own. They say your love is dangerous. I've never feared more to live fully. Gossip paints you dark. I see the hues of someone fighting for light. They call you reckless. I watch you leap where angels fear to tread. They say you're broken beyond repair. I believe in the beauty of your cracks. Everyone labels you a liar. I sense the fragile truth behind your words. They say you're impossible to trust. I'm learning to trust the unspoken between us. They claim you're heartless. I feel the depths of the love you never speak aloud. Everyone around me fears you. I see the courage it takes to be yourself. They say you left me shattered. I'm still here, stronger than your silence. Gossip says you don't care. I know you protect love by hiding it well. They say you're a storm. I'm willing to get drenched just to hold your hand. Everyone calls you dangerous. I see the risk of loving someone real. They say you don't feel. I feel your pain every time you close your eyes. They say you're selfish. I know the cost of loving without losing yourself. Everyone whispers you're cold-hearted. I've seen the warmth behind your guarded eyes. They say you hurt me intentionally. I know sometimes love is the deepest wound. They say you vanished. I know you were fighting to survive the silence. Everyone says you're impossible. I see the impossible love only you can give. Gossip says you're unfaithful. I see loyalty in the battles you silently fight. They say you're reckless with hearts. I watch you protect yours with wild courage. They claim you're unkind. I see a heart broken too many times to trust. Everyone calls you a stranger. I feel the soul I'm still trying to save. They say you don't deserve love. I see the love you deny yourself every day. Gossip says you're cruel. I witness tenderness buried beneath your scars. They say you're a liar. I believe in the truth you hide to survive. Everyone whispers you're dangerous. I feel the risk in every heartbeat you give. They say you're unreachable. I'm learning to bridge the distance with patience. They say you left me cold. I'm still burning with the memories you left behind. Gossip calls you selfish. I know the sacrifices you made without anyone seeing. They say you don't care. I know the love you express in silence. Everyone says you're impossible. I believe in the impossible magic between us. They say you're reckless. I see bravery in every step you take away. They call you broken. I see strength forged in the fire of your past. Everyone calls you a liar. I believe in the truth your silence speaks. They say you don't feel. I feel your love in every quiet gesture. Gossip says you're heartless. I see a soul healing in fragments. They say you're cold. I know the warmth you keep for those you trust. They say you're unforgiving. I see forgiveness waiting beneath the pain. Everyone calls you reckless. I see a heart daring to be free.